So, got all the stuff home now, and we're gonna have to find out and see if it works. The most important thing is gonna be if the main machine works. So I've got the Commodore 64, and I've got a power supply. This is the one that I was using with it last in the 80s. It's a Ricoton, so apparently the original one died, and I got a replacement. And we're gonna find out today if it even works. So let's first check the power. Plug this in, and hold on, I gotta plug the power supply in. All right, we got the power supply plugged in, and let's flip the switch. The power is coming on, but it's a little wimpy. Oh, there we go. And it's still touchy. See, I thought I'd remembered something wrong with the power supply. We'll have to maybe get into that and see. But the light came on, so it is getting power. We obviously can't tell if it's working because it's not hooked up to a monitor. But I ordered this video cable here, which should connect to the back and give us audio and video composite output, which I'm going to hook to this 30-inch TV and see if it works. Originally, I used the RF output, which was this little connector here, because the TVs we had back in those days were the tube TVs, and they didn't have many composite inputs at the time. It was mostly RF, so there's a little switch box on the back, and you'd switch that to where either the computer or the antenna. So this is the first time I've ever used composite video, so let's find out if that works. The computer's off, and let's see here. Video, plug that in. There we go. I think that went in. And now we've got to hook that up to the TV. We'll be right back. Okay, the video cable is now connected to the composite input on the back of the TV. We're going to turn the computer back on and cross our fingers. Hey, how about that? Oh my God, it works. Wow. Getting a lot of hum from the audio, so I'm going to turn that, I'm going to mute that. Well, that's annoying. I'm going to just turn the volume down. Oh my God, it works. So how bad is this connector? It's pretty bad. If we're careful, might be okay for testing purposes, but somebody's going to have to go in there and work on it. Wow. How's the keyboard? What am I doing way up there? Keyboard so far is questionable. Somehow it's way at the top of the screen. Return key's not working. Backspace doesn't really, I don't remember much about how it's supposed to function anyway. Shift lock key is totally stuck. Somewhat stuck. Shift works. I don't even remember what the Commodore key does. Wow. Home brings you to the top. Shift, clear screen. Shift is working. Insert, delete. Let's load. Where's the quote on this thing? Way up there, that's unusual. Delete key is not working. That could be a problem. Huh. Well, that's a shame. There's some weird stuff going on here. I could try taking this thing apart. Obviously, we're gonna have to do that. And see if we can clean the keyboard up at all. It's really doing some weird stuff. Of course, we don't know if that's the keyboard or just old electronics. Well, wonderful. Let's restart it and see if that makes any difference at all. Space is working. Delete key is not functioning. Although keyboard is working a little bit better than it did before I restarted it. Interesting. Either that or I don't remember how to use the backspace. Delete key. It's been a long time. All right, well. We'll see what we can do. All right, let's look inside here and see what we've got. Looks like there are no screws. Okay, so, wow, not dirty. Not dirty inside or anything. Let's see about this. I'm gonna have to get some screws to hold this thing together. We'll unplug the keyboard. That's easy to figure out. And then we've got this little connector here, which is the LED. And that's about it. Everything here looks great. No leaking capacitors. Fuse is fine. No major dust. 1983 Commodore International, Commodore 64. Wow. I think that's functional. I think the problem here is mainly just in the keyboard, which does not look like fun. So, all right. Gonna have to take this apart. All right, I'm gonna use my real high quality screwdriver. Mainly because I don't want to go out to the garage, and this is handy and it works, so there you go. I suspect that these keyboards are fairly easily replaced, considering all the parts that are available on the internet. But we'll see what we've got here. I like to try and fix what I've got before I spend money on stuff. It's kind of good to have the originals anyway. Let's put this aside. Wow. Nothing user accessible here. I need to look and see what's going on in the function key anyway. Connectors look good. So in order to get inside there, I'm gonna have to take all these tiny little screws out. So I'll spare you from having to watch that. Hold on a second. Okay, I've removed 1,000 tiny screws from the back of this, and we'll see if this comes off. Looks like it does fairly easily. Oh, this is going to be a mess. But I guess the only way to deal with this because each of these little connectors is going to fall off. And the problem is probably the board underneath is dirty or something. And the only way to find out is to clean it. Yeah, that's gonna be some work. I've gotta desolder these two wires here if I'm gonna pull this board all the way off. That's for the shift lock key. Unless I can pull the whole thing out. It looks like it might be removable. These things are gonna be all over the place. Oh my God. These are all gonna fall off anyway. But I can put them down in there when I put it back together, and they should be placed properly. All right, I don't want to solder these wires, but that's what's got to be done. Well, let's see what I can do. All right, let's see. The iron's hot. Let's get these two wires off. It's just a switch, so the polarity doesn't matter. Easy to reconnect next time. All right. There we go. Everything looks not dirty. It's possible that the problem, since all of these, both the backspace and the return key were not working, it's possible that maybe one of these lines is just not functional. But we should try and clean these up anyway. Let's try a eraser that usually works. All right, let's see. We can see the function keys there, so we know that we're looking at it the right way. I'm gonna try and clean these up a little. Got it apart, so we might as well do it all. Worst case, we'll need a new keyboard. Hey, it's interesting. It says VIC-20 here, so it's like the same keyboard from a VIC-20, which I happen to have, so maybe I'll swap them out if nothing else. There we go. I should probably wipe that with something. I'm going to wipe it down with some 409. And I know y'all are screaming at me right now, but that's what I've got, and that's what I'm going to use. That looks pretty darn good. And yes, that's a paper towel. Okay. Now we've got a billion tiny little doodads here to replace. They probably should be cleaned as well, but good God, that would take forever, wouldn't it? pretty well aligned. Let's put this keyboard back on. Okay, I'm not going to hook this up yet because if I have to take it apart again, I don't want to have to deal with that. So let's plug this back in here. I'm going to put these down here so they don't short anywhere. Hook up the keyboard. And I'm going to put the keyboard here, just for testing purposes. Hook up the video and the power and the glory forever. Okay, and the power here. And I'm gonna hook up this LED, which apparently I had to shorten or something back in the day when I changed the case. Let's hook it up here so that I know if the power is working. And TV on. And power on. All right, let's see what we get here. Hey, the backspace works. That's important. Oh wait, I know I don't have a drive hooked up, but for testing purposes. Key return works. Hey, I think we're in good shape here. Shift lock still needs some work. I know it's not hooked up, but it's not functioning properly. It's some kind of weird switch. Not critical for what we're doing. Looks like we're all functional now. I think we're set. We'll button this back up. Oh, so check this out. I was able to pop the shift lock switch and key all the way out, which is good because it's really sticks when you push it down in there. I don't know if you can take this apart. It doesn't look like it. I don't think you can. So I'm going to use some oil and see if that helps at all. Just a few tiny drops here. Let's see if I can work it in. It may be too far gone. Fortunately, I don't think we need shift lock a lot for what we're going to be doing. It feels like the problem is deep down inside there, because if I push it down, it doesn't want to come back up easily at all. And I expect, being a shift lock key, it should lock in place. So whatever's going on in there, it's probably beyond the scope of cleaning or repairing. So I'm just going to let it slide and try not to press it down. Either that or not hook it up. I think I might not hook it up. That way I don't have to worry about it pressing down. That's the plan. We'll just do without. Okay, so we've got it put back together here. All the keys are working except the shift lock, and even the function key, which is broken off. The little stub there works much better, and I can try and glue that key back on. I've got it in the box somewhere. So, here's a computer with nothing on it. So, I've got a few cartridges that I've found here. One is a game, Omega Race. I guess we'll try that first. Then I've got the Fastload cartridge, and I've got a Warp Speed cartridge, which I don't remember what the difference is. The Warp Speed cartridge looks like I'd opened it for some reason. The screw is missing in the front, so I don't even know if it works. But let's see if Omega Race does anything. Looks pretty clean. Power it off. Plug in the cartridge. Power it on. Nothing. I don't remember if you're supposed to do something. I thought it automatically just ran. Interesting. Maybe the connection's not good. Let me try one of these other cartridges. I don't think the Fastload cartridge shows anything on the screen, but we'll find out. Turn it on. Yep, nothing different on the screen. Doesn't mean that it's not working. Let's see what Warp Speed does. Ugh. Ah, that does something. The whole thing looks different here. I really don't remember much about this. I'm going to have to Google it and see what it does. But we know that the cartridge slot is working. Ugh, boy, that's really tight in there. Let's look at Omega Race once more. Maybe if I clean the connectors here. We'll try. Will that fit in there? Not very well. Well, let's just try it. Well, there you go. Nothing. Well, I don't think it sucked anyway, so let's not mess with that. What I'd really like to do is try to hook up one of the floppy drives. So, let me go get one. So here I've got two Commodore 1541 floppy disk drives, 5¼ discs. I'm thinking that before I even try to use these, I should probably open it up and clean the dust out. They were not in a box like the Commodore 64 was, and they're fairly enclosed, but we are talking floppy disks, so I think we should probably try to clean the cobwebs out before we use it. I'm going to need a better screwdriver. Hold on. I've never opened these before, at least not that I remember. They were functioning just fine back in the 80s, and I don't think I had any reason to open them. Although that's interesting, the screw is missing from here, so maybe I did open it. Let's just go ahead and continue. not so easily accessible. The electronics that I see so far look pretty good, not very dirty. You know, I kind of do remember opening one of these before now. This metal case looks familiar. Does this come off? Yeah, it does. Okay. The metal is a bit tarnished on these RF cages. The electronics look pretty good, pretty clean. Important thing is the head down here. Yeah, this looks familiar. I'm pretty sure. Well, this basically looks the same as any other drive ever. But here's where the action happens. I should probably use some compressed air first. That I don't have really convenient, but I'll go and get it. Hold on. It's really quite clean. There's no dust flying off. So we'll just let it be. I am going to try and clean the head though. I don't have what would properly be used to clean a head, so I'm going to use some alcohol that I have in the bathroom, which you're probably not supposed to use, but that's what I've got. So hold on. Okay. I also don't have any Q-tips. I thought I did, but I can't find them, so toilet paper is going to have to do. Maybe. We'll see. I'm sure it'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Clean the head here. And this side. And we'll dry it. There, that looks good. I think I'm gonna prop this up for a minute or two, let the alcohol dry. And I wonder if I should bother putting it back together. I think I will not. The mechanism looks good. So let's just put it up here and give me a minute to go find the cables. I've got the power cable and I think this is the data cable. Let's check the data cable first because the power cable is obvious. I've got lots of those. Wow, this looks like a brand new one. Still factory sealed. There. I hope that's what it is. So that plugs into the serial connector. It does. Into the serial connector on the back of the drive. Somewhere. Oh, right here. There's two of them. This was a lot like USB back in the day. In fact, you know, USB is Universal Serial Bus. And this is kind of a serial bus because it goes from the computer here, you chain your next drive here, you could chain your printer to that. So it just went on and on. All right, let's turn it on. Well, the lights came on. There's no smoke, that's good. Turn on the computer. The light came on again. Oops, I gotta take out the cartridge. Why don't we put in the Fastload cartridge? Since that's supposed to make the drive load faster. Okay. So now I need floppies. Fortunately, I have lots of those. Here, I have everything. Some are labeled, some are not. Doodle. Doodle was a drawing program, I think. Shall we use that as a test? Come on, power, stay on. I'm gonna have to get in there on that. Put this floppy disk in. And let's see what's on it. Darn it. Gotta get the asterisks in there. Quote, comma, 8, comma, 1. It's reading. Loading. Good God, I gotta stop pressing that home key. Delete, delete, delete. List, yeah, there's the program. Snoopy, DD Snoopy Xmas. Interesting, I don't think this is Doodle. Let's run it and see what happens. It's a bit noisy, but it loaded the directory, that's good, so we know it's working. Merry Christmas from Snoopy! Is that it? I guess that was considered impressive back in the day. Now we can't even see what it says. It's in some kind of graphic mode. We'll have to restart it. It's not supposed to do that. I think it's not entirely readable. I guess we're lucky it worked at all. Let's try it without Fastload just to see what happens. I'm getting better at that. No, doesn't want to read it. Read it once. Let's try another disk. Fast hack 'em, links, Geos, that was kind of a GUI. Here's a disk labeled Johnny's Disk. Let's see what's on it. It's reading. I don't remember if the star is to load the first program automatically, which I'm thinking because it loaded the Snoopy program. I can't remember what the command was to get a directory of the disk. I'm gonna have to Google that. I'm sure I know it, I just can't remember it. You can scream it at me right now, but I won't hear you. Still loading, but not very well. The head's not moving, but the disc seems to be spinning. I was into bulletin boards a lot. There's a lot of bulletin board software here. We ran one called the Vatican for a long time. See, these discs are well packed together. Even though the top is dusty, the rest of it is pretty clean. Huh. Don't know what that means. 1001. Hold on, I'm going to do some Googling. I'll be right back. Okay, so apparently to list the directory is load $. Where's the dollar? Here it is. Shift $8,1 out of memory. Let me restart it again. Let's go ahead and put this Fastload cartridge back in. And load $8,1. That should give us a directory. Wow, that's pretty bizarre. Not a directory. So, but who knows what's on that disk? This is downloads, so it should be a bunch of single disks, single files. File not found. Not reading that one well. We're gonna go randomly here. Try and restart the drive. Well, that's not normal, I'm pretty sure. We'll pick another one randomly here. Let's try downloads 2. Oh yeah, these are double-sided. I could flip them over. Just try comma 8. That's better. Now we're talking. Don't do comma 1. Wow. Banner, big letters, cash flow. Doctor video, interesting. Let's try banner, comma 8. I think you put a 1 when you're loading a program. I don't remember what the significance of the 1 was. This was early days. You didn't have to worry about viruses. All right, let's see here. And everything's in basic, so you can list the basic. There it is. No control C, is there? There's no stop. There's got to be a stop somewhere, but that's okay. We'll let it run. bunch of data. Now we'll run the program. Oh, syntax error. How's that possible? I mean, you do type run, I'm pretty sure. It doesn't say what line. It's as if run itself is a syntax error. Run. Huh. Let's load the directory once more. That S is still not working well. Cash flow, big letters. Let's try big letters. Comma 8. I'll just do comma 8, see what happens. The S works when I've barely got my finger on it. Run. Syntax error. I must be doing something wrong. I mean, there's the program. And there's the big letters. But for some reason, run is not the right command. I mean, it's basic. What else is there? Let me go Google it. Hold on. Okay, well, I was right. According to Google, run should work. Let's just test the syntax and see if run works at all. We're going to write a quick basic program. 10 print hello. 20 go to 10. Run. Okay, so that works. How do you make it stop? Run stop, I guess. Duh. Let's try that just to find out. Run stop. Yes, we likes. So the programming, I mean the syntax of run is functional. It's just, for some reason, so far the programs that I've loaded are not working. List. Okay. Let's try fugue. I imagine that might play toccata and fugue. It's fairly big compared to some of the other programs here. 35K. We're loaded. Shall we list it? It's poking a lot of data, so I'm thinking it is going to play some music. Let's see if it'll run. Enter speed, 120 normal. Cool. Okay, that's pretty cool. So, the programming does work. I think it was the time when you downloaded stuff back in the day that some stuff just didn't work. After all, it was written by regular people. Let's look on another disk. Speed calc. Shall we see what speed calc is? I'm pretty sure it's a spreadsheet. That one's not reading. Actually, I'm kind of surprised that some of them read at all. Oh, there's something on the back of this other downloads. Let's try that one. Come on. I'm used to the backspace key being somewhere here, and it takes me to the top of the screen. Ooh, lots of stuff on this disc. Latin tutor, list translator. I took Latin in high school. Meta basic, that sounds familiar. Telefreak. I did it again. List. How do you do them? There's no more. I don't want to use up the whole screen. 10-second format. Doctor Who. I was into Doctor Who. Let's load that up and see what happens. Let's see the larger one. Doctor Who. Comma 8, comma 1. The sounds this thing makes is pretty interesting. List. Huh. Run. That's strange. Let's try Doctor Who without the comma 1. Just comma 8. I think Telefreak was supposed to be used for phone hacking back in the day. Different frequencies could get you long distance calls. I don't think I ever used it. Well, that didn't do anything, that just locked everything up. Let's try TARDIS. Oh, there's Fastload. I didn't notice that before. List. Nothing. Well, like I said, a lot of downloads were nothing. Here I've got games. Let's see what kind of games I've got. Spy Hunter. And one on the back called Stealth. Let's see what Spy Hunter does. That was fast. Wow, that floppy drive just humming along perfectly. Okay, I don't know what that is. Pressed enter. Got a blank screen. Wait, something's happening. There it is, Spy Hunter, 1983. Where's my joystick? Okay, let's see. Joystick, how do you select that, Jay? All right. Novice or expert? Better go novice. I remember this. Oh, not so good at that. You can't kill your own truck. the music stopped, which is fine with me. Are you supposed to get in the truck? Yeah, apparently. I don't know why. Oh, not so good. I guess you can't. Well, I was never good at games anyway. Well, anyway, there we go. It's actually working. You can't believe it. It's been sitting in the garage in heat, Texas heat, for what, 30-something years, and it still works, mostly. That's pretty cool, I have to say. I'm gonna spend a lot of time on this, and I guess tune in again, and maybe we'll get the printer working and see what else we can do. Laters.